So Hayley Griffiths was one of the 3 staff members in a WhatsApp group with Lucy Letby. You might remember, along with Karen Rees, the Director of Nursing for Urgent Care, and Catherine de Beja, who worked in occupational health. We've heard evidence from them over the past few weeks, and it's clear they became very close to Lucy Letby. And that was also true for Hayley Griffiths, who was her union rep. Now, she's a protected witness at this inquiry, which means we can't broadcast her evidence, but we've used an actor to voice up her words. She told the inquiry barrister Rachel Langdale Casey that Lucy Letby should never have been moved to the Risk and Patient Safety Office.
It was never appropriate to have put her in our office in the first place.
Why is that?
I just didn't think it was appropriate, given we were risk and governance. Everyone was aware that there was an internal review. There was starting to be the rumour mill everywhere of what's going on there, is somebody involved, is somebody not.
Of course, if somebody is moved from a clinical-facing role, the whole hospital must have been talking about it. It's very hard to keep that a secret.
Yes, absolutely. People talk across departments. People are friends everywhere. It wasn't something I necessarily talked about, but I had a different role in it. But I didn't think it was right that she came into office, and I did raise that. And none more so because I was potentially going to be officially representing her at that time, and that would have caused a conflict. I also made the RCN aware because I'd been involved in the review on the triplets. I didn't know what she had access to, or what she would have accessed, but I didn't think it was right.
She said a couple of months later, at the beginning of September, she was asked at the last minute to accompany Lucy Letby to her interview with the team from the Royal College of Paediatrics and Child Health, when they came to the hospital to carry out an external review into the unit. But she said it became clear during that interview that their investigation wouldn't get to the bottom of what the consultants were alleging. And this, she said, prompted her to have a frank conversation with Lucy Letby when they went on a walk in a country park a few days later, because she said she wasn't sure that she understood the gravity of the allegations being made against her. But she said Lucy Letby wasn't surprised by what she'd told her. She didn't burst into tears or ask her any questions about who was making the allegations or how she was supposed to have caused the baby's harm. Instead, she calmly stood up, said she wanted to be alone, and walked away on her phone.
She never said anything to me. I thought it was a little strange, but everybody deals with things differently. And maybe I might have viewed it as to how I would be if somebody said that to me. I don't know. I did think it was strange at the time.
Now, Hayley Griffiths said she thought the allegations were so serious that the police should have been called in to investigate. And she even suggested to Lucy Letby that she should go to the police herself to clear her name. But she said she didn't want to do that.
I did feel there needed to be an investigation, and I raised that with the trust. Every week we were being told, "We support you, Lucy. We're behind you, Lucy. We'll get you back on the NNU."
She also said that following the Royal College interview, she advised Lucy Letby to consider putting in a grievance, and we know that's exactly what she did. Now, Rachel Langdale Casey asked Hayley Griffiths about these text messages that they'd exchanged, which, with hindsight, are pretty shocking.
This is you. I'm currently watching a programme called How to Get Away with Murder. I'm learning some good tips. Next message from her. I could have given you some tips. This was a really serious situation. What did you make of that at the time?
I've thought about this a lot. It was nothing more than a conversation. However, I truly and deeply regret having started that conversation. Entering into text messages with Lucy, this is completely unprofessional and a poor judgment on my behalf, and completely insensitive, and I can only apologise from the bottom of my heart. I've reflected on that, and that was me years ago. There's nothing else I can say.
You say, I need someone to practice on to see if I can get away with it. And she says, I can think of 2 people you could practice on and will help you cover it up. Kiss. Deal. I will get thinking of a plan, get the cruise booked as our getaway. Knowing what you know about her now, how do you find all of that?
I just think it's really insensitive. I started the conversation. I didn't think it was anything more than a conversation. I didn't think she was telling me anything. I just know that this isn't something we should have been having a conversation about.
Now, we should say, Liz, that no evidence was presented to the inquiry about which two people Lucy Letby might have been referring to, but would it be a wild guess to say Dr. Breary and Dr. Jayram were the key consultants who she may have had in mind?
Well, we know, don't we, that they were certainly the two consultants who'd been working hard behind the scenes for her to be removed from the ward and not to be allowed back. And we also heard, Caroline, that in other text messages Hayley Griffiths sent to Lucy Letby, she described Dr. Breary as a grade A knobhead and claimed she wanted to punch RJ. She also described Lucy Letby, somewhat incredibly, as my lovely criminal mastermind and told her they'd be friends for life.
So not surprisingly then, she was asked by a barrister representing the parents of the babies murdered by Lucy Letby to imagine how they felt when they saw those messages. And she said she was upset herself when she saw them, so she couldn't imagine how they'd felt. But she denied making light of the allegations and insisted she was sorry for sending them.
As I said before, I'm so remorseful. As soon as I'd seen them myself, I was upset and I can't begin to imagine. I can only apologise and say I've learned. I can't go back in time, but I have reflected absolutely on it.